Hello, friends, and welcome. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Gems Girls Club. I'm Cindy Bultema. So great to have you here. We are getting ready to make your day, so I am so thankful that you have joined us. In case this is your very first Coffee Chat, I'm Cindy with Gems Girls Club. GEMS stands for Girls Everywhere Meeting the Savior, and we're passionate about helping today's girls grow up strong, secure, confident in Christ. And we're also passionate about pouring into the women in their lives, the moms, mentors, and ministry leaders that are pouring out into this generation of girls. And so we like to take this time to pour into you. And today we have a special guest, Jem's friend and my personal friend, Karen Ehman. Karen, welcome to our coffee chat.
Hey, Cindy, thanks so much for having me. I only wish we were in person, really having coffee like we do sometimes.
Wouldn't that be nice? Now, in case you're like the one person who has not met Karen before, let me just give you a quick little bio about Karen. She is a speaker, a gifted speaker, a New York Times best-selling author. She is a writer. You can read her writing with Proverbs 31 and other places, reaches millions of people through her writing. She's also a wife and a mom, and you're a grandma to a couple pups now, I think. And you also are just such an encourager and prayer warrior. Karen, I think I still owe you some jeans because you wore out in some jeans praying on behalf of my family. And so I appreciate about you, Karen. One of the many things is that you are the same, whether on a platform or off. You're just passionate about women living their priorities. So thank you so much for joining us here today.
Wow.
And I wonder, what did I miss? If there was someone that's meeting you for the first time, what would you throw in there introducing Karen Ehman?
I don't know. I love antique hunting, and I love cheering for the Detroit Tigers because I live in Michigan, just like you do.
That's true.
And I can't think of anything else except my husband says that I talk a lot, but you know,
what do you
say? Well, he says that's what first attracted him to me when we were in college. He thought, wow, I love how she can work a room and make everybody feel included. But about 3 days into our honeymoon, he wondered, is she ever going to stop? And so he teases me that if I pass away before he does, he already knows what he's going to put on my tombstone.
And that is, I don't know.
A period. She's finally done talking. She's finally done talking.
Oh, that taught Ehman. And you have a great husband as well. So we haven't been able to connect since the pandemic started in real life. And so I'm just wondering, share with the women who also have been impacted by the pandemic, 2020, now we're in 2021, how have you been coping? How have you been coping with everything going on in the world?
Well, I'm telling you, I'm not going to candy coat it because it has been hard, not only in the year that was 2020, but in about 3/4 of 2019 and 2020, I lost 2 uncles, 2 aunts, a cousin, my father, and my stepmother. We moved to a new town, and I had 2 children get married. One during the height of COVID, they had to do quick throw together a wedding in 8 hours because we were supposed to go to Spain and we couldn't. So I've had a ton of ups and a ton of downs. Not only those things, but adjusting to this, and I hate the phrase, but the new normal of COVID. Now I work from home, so it wasn't terribly hard to switch up my Monday through Friday, but I don't get to go out and speak at events anymore. I've had I think 17 events get canceled. So I'm not getting that human interaction that I love because I love to talk and I love to encourage. And so I've just really had to tell myself, not only is it hopefully going to be temporary, but if this is the worst thing about my life, I've still got a pretty good life. I still have my health. I still have friends and family who love me. The people that passed away knew the Lord, so I'll see him again someday. So I have to kind of get my brain to think, not that this is the worst, but it could be even worse. So I can deal with this, and God's going to help me. But it's hard, and I know there are people going through even more dire things than that. People have lost jobs, lost their houses, and if we can't lean on God hard now, we're not going to make it. So in a way, it's good because I think it's really making people think more about their relationship with God and trusting him. But it has been extremely hard on so many people.
I'm so sorry for your loss. In the comments too, others are saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I appreciate your authenticity, Karen. One of the many things that that is a character quality that people are drawn to, is that you tell it how it is, but with hope, but with the truth. You certainly don't sugarcoat things. And what I appreciate in the midst of this hard time, that you have, you put together a resource that we're going to celebrate, that comes out tomorrow, February 2nd, in case you're watching on the replay, about how to be hope and light and love in the midst of this hard season. If ever there was a resource needed right now, Karen, I believe it's yours. So just go ahead. I can't wait any longer for this celebration. So your new book, Make Their Day. I printed off. Is this your hand, Karen?
No, it's not. It's not.
It's a nice hand. It's fun colors. And it would not be a celebration if we didn't have a little confetti. Remember one of your books you came over and we had like the big wands and all of these things. They were want to celebrate you, and your book kind of matches with the book, Make Their Day, and had a chance to read it through so many practical action steps. So just tell us a little bit about what led you to put together this resource, and what you hope for those that read it.
Well, I first have to tell you about my little story of my mom, which in a way doesn't sound like it really connects, but hang with me because it does.
I'll hang you with you.
Now,
Yeah.
I said, that I love to talk. My mom and I couldn't be less alike. She's very quiet, very shy, and very sweet. And I don't think she'd yell even if she were on fire, where I can find all kinds of occasions to yell. But anyway, but there's something that I wanted so bad to mimic in her life, even though we weren't the same personality. I saw this quality about her that was just so others centered rather than, being focused on yourself and talking all the time like I like to do. She was just a really great listener, and she would listen to people and kind of listen between the lines and hear if they were maybe facing some medical tests, and they said, oh yeah, I get the test results back next Tuesday, and so they didn't really say, and I'm really worried about it and I need some encouragement, but she could sense that she was listening. She wasn't so busy yakking. And so she would mark her calendar, and that next Tuesday she would do something, whether it was call them up on the phone or drop them off a little treat or something. And I just saw her live this way. And I also remember too, one time being in middle school, about the age of, a lot of the GEMS girls. And I was very upset one day. I think I had not gotten invited to a slumber party. And I went home and I was processing this with my mom at the dining room table. And she said something to me I've never forgotten. She said, Karen, I know that you're having a hard time, but I want you to remember this. Whenever life is not going your way, circumstances have gotten you down, you're feeling a little down in the dumps, maybe even depressed, you need to remember that there's always somebody out there who has it worse off than you. So here's what you do. You go find that person and you do something to make their day. Make their day. And in a strange way, it ends up making your day as well. Because what we do, Cindy, especially in this day and age with social media, is we get our eyes riveted on the people who seem to have life better than us. They seem to have a better house, nicer clothes, they're more popular, whatever. They just seem to have it all together, and we're coming apart at the seams because it seems like everyone has a better life. Instead, we've got to stop comparing ourselves to them and instead look for that person who surely doesn't have life as well as we do. So that might be, you're complaining because, oh, my kitchen's so small. I just don't like my kitchen. It's so small. Well, you know what? Go serve at a shelter, a halfway house for women who are fleeing abusive situations and have no kitchen. And then all of a sudden your kitchen isn't that bad, right? And so I've learned to live this way, to be on the lookout for people and do something to make their day. And I've just collected a lot of ideas over my, 3 decades of adulthood. And I've had several friends say, you should put those all in a notebook so I can borrow your notebook sometime. I want to do some of those ideas. And I thought, well, maybe I will someday. But I got a little nudge from my publisher that said, would you consider doing an idea book? Because I had just done a 40-day challenge on being a hospitable person inside and outside your home. And they said, boy, it'd be great if the follow-up book could have just a ton of ideas for people to do these things that make people feel noticed and welcomed and wanted. And so I thought, well, I'll see. Maybe I can come up with 101, because that's what they pitched, was 101. And so I split it into different categories, like your family, your friends around the town, and just wanted to give people, not just say, boy, you should be a thoughtful person that looks for someone else and tries to make their day. That's like the why, let's do the what can we actually do? So that's what it is a book full of what's.
I love it. I love it. So for the woman that's listening right now, it's fun to see all of our friends that are coming on. what would be one example if they're like, what can I do today? I'm going to order Karen's book, but what can I do even today or tomorrow? In any of the categories that you mentioned. Do you have a favorite?
Well, let me think of one that you could do, whether, because with COVID, whether you're in person or not. Okay, here's one. So if you have a
Okay.
friend that's going through a particular time in life, maybe they're very worried. Let's just say they're worried about something. Maybe they're worried about an adult child, or child in middle school or whatever, or they're worried about finances. Make a playlist of 10
Mm,
songs that are super encouraging and that help you focus on God and not worry, and just send them a playlist and say, hey, I was thinking about you today and I custom made you this little playlist. You can even make a little graphic if you want to, picture and put, so-and-so's playlist so she won't freak out, and send it to her. And just some little simple thing like that.
I love it. I love it. They're putting in the comments that they like the idea too. So Kanita, I'm glad that you're here. Go ahead and give a thumbs up if you want to give that a try, or if you know someone that's worrying, which I think most of us these days. And someone is saying, Susie is saying that she would love that. So it's already confirmed, Karen, that would be a great, great idea. Lots of hearts and love coming out for that. Now, I read in your book where you said that for the woman who wants to be remembered as someone who scatters kindness to everyone that she knew, but her busy schedule could get in the way. So I imagine there's a lot of women too that could understand about, oh my goodness, I would totally want that reputation, but my to-do list is like 18 miles long. What would you share as encouragement, Karen, for the woman who has really great intentions, but feels like follow through is hard?
Well, we have to stop looking at doing things like this as something that we need to add in addition to our schedule. Like, I also have to find time to do all of these things. No, you don't. You can work it right into your natural schedule. So here's another example. When you are at a coffee house with a friend, say Cindy and I are going out to coffee, and I see her step up to the counter and give her high maintenance coffee order to the barista. I don't remember if your coffee order is high maintenance. Mine is. But let's say you have a friend and they have a high maintenance coffee order. They like a decaf coconut mocha latte, extra hot and light on the whip, right? So it's not just something they're pointing, I want a number 5. Sure. They want their own custom. So write it down in the notes app on your phone. And then the next time that you are out and about and you're yourself going to the coffee house, and you think of your friend whose high maintenance coffee order you wrote down, maybe you sense that she's going through something, or it's the anniversary of when she lost a loved one, or just any time she needs a little pick me up. When you're there at the coffee house, order her high maintenance coffee order, show up at her front door. I did this one day for my friend who had her only child going off to college, and it was the first day of school in the fall. I knew she was going to see the school buses going by and be sad. And so I was going to the coffee house anyway after I dropped my son off at high school. So I just swung by. I got her high maintenance order that I'd put in my phone like 6 months prior. And I showed up at her door and I dropped it off. And she was so touched that I dropped it off that day, because it was a hard day for her. And she said, oh, what did you bring me, a mocha or a vanilla latte? And I said, no, I brought you and I rattled off her high maintenance coffee order. And she said, how did you know? And I said, because silly, the last time you gave it, I wrote it down in my phone. Good thing I remembered it, right? So I didn't have to add much more time to my schedule. I naturally just worked it in. Another example, you're making dinner for your family, making a pan of lasagna, make 2. Stick it in the freezer for a day that you hear that somebody's, gotten some bad news, or maybe they got some good news and a baby arrived to their family. And those days when you think, oh, I would love to make them a meal, but I can't. I don't have the time. Well, yes, you do. All you're going to do is walk to your freezer, and you're going to pull out the lasagna, and you're going to maybe quick swing by the grocery store for a bag of salad and a loaf of bread to go with it, whatever. Just learn to maximize your time. And when you're doing something already that's in your schedule, think, how can I double this and bless someone else?
I love it. How can I double this and bless someone else? I also love that you're talking about food, Karen, because when I think of you, I think of all of your great recipes. I still have soup recipes that I printed off of your blog probably a decade ago. So many great recipes. And one of the things that you're offering with your book are some of your great recipes and some simple things, that peanut butter. Oh my goodness. So tell us a little bit, for those that order your book, because again, this is Monday, February 1st. In case you're watching on the replay, your book starts launching officially tomorrow, thus the confetti. And right now, if you purchase your book, you can go to your website, KarenEhman.com, and there's some free downloads. Can you tell us about some of the things that you're giving away right now?
Yeah, so they just go to my website, KarenEhman.com, and Ehman is EHMAN. And if you click on the books tab and click on Make Their Day, It will take you to all the different places that you can purchase the book, but also an introductory paragraph with a link that if you buy the book anywhere, doesn't matter where, and you go to that link and you put in your information of where you bought it, your name and your email and all that good stuff, you will be able to claim this free PDF that I did. It's mostly, I would say, Valentine's ideas, but you can use it any time of year. But it's recipes that'll be great for giving at Valentine's Day. There's homemade peanut butter cups. There's, let's see, there's cinnamon spiced nuts. There's dark chocolate cherry fudge, which is my favorite. And there's also these really cute scripture tags I had my graphic designer design that has Bible verses on it, or even just, Happy Valentine's Day. Some are just kind of plain too. And you can give that tag, just photocopy it in cardstock and give it with your gift. And I give a bunch of ideas for how to present the gift, cute ways that are super inexpensive to give that fudge rather than just, wrapping it in foil or whatever. And so I just wanted to give people, again, practical ideas, not just say, hey, you should be doing cute things for others at Valentine's Day, make their day. Well, here's how. Here's the recipe. Here's how to package it. And here's some tags. So you don't have to think about, putting a tag on it because it's already done for you.
I love it. I love that you're making it so simple for us. And I think you're also making us hungry. See lots of friends like Katie Reed who's saying yum. So I think we're all going to go buy the book so we can get the free downloads and we can try the fudge. So thank you for that. Another quote that I pulled from your book, you say this: let's outshine the negativity and hatred in our world and reach out to others with love, just as God intended. And I'm imagining if we were in a room full of women, as we both would love that, we would see all the head nods when we talk about the negativity and hatred in our world. Because you're such a hope speaker, I wonder, Karen, if you could speak to some of the women. Again, we're talking to moms, mentors, ministry leaders that have been in a pandemic. We're going almost on a full year, who probably feel like there's a lot of negativity out there. And you talk about taking this candle and shining hope and healing into this world. So I wonder if you could just speak to that weary woman who feels like, oh my goodness, do I even make a difference? And just needs that encouragement from you today, Karen.
Yeah, there is so much snark and sarcasm and outright hurling of hate nowadays, especially online, that what really shines bright and what really rises above is the woman who loves just because. And I think of Jesus, he treated people with dignity and respect, and he was kind to them and he loved them just because they were people. And nowadays it seems like you can't treat someone well unless you agree with them on every single issue and you voted for the same candidate, right? And you just are completely like-minded. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have like-minded friends. I mean, Cindy and I are like-minded friends. But so often we just look for someone who's a cookie cutter version of us, and then we'll be nice to them. But the other people, we're, either snarky at them or maybe we just ignore them. But when we can learn to be loving others and treating them with respect just because they bear the image of God, and doing it not to get a response, not to get anything, in return, but just because that's how God would want us to treat them, just for that audience of one. And to know too that we can be making a difference. We can be on the lookout, like my mom was, for that person who least expects to be seen, and notice them and do something for them. It can make the world of a difference in someone's life. And we do it for the Lord. We don't do it to get recognition. We don't do it to be voted homecoming queen of Facebook because we do so many good deeds. Good deeds are more marching orders here on earth, but they're not our ticket to heaven. We don't do it so we'll get to heaven. We do it because God wants us to.
They are definitely resonating with that, Karen. Love just because. So thank you for that good word. So I don't know about you, friends, but maybe show some thumbs up or some hearts if you're ready to go out and make their day. I love the story of how that comes from your mom too. Just thank you for going behind the scenes and sharing that as well. And Karen, you're going to help some friends get a head start on this because you've offered to give 3 copies of your book. Do you want to hold up your book again? Be the Vanna White there. 3 copies we're going to send to you after tomorrow, because remember, tomorrow is when it goes live. And so here's what we're going to do. Oh, and for GEMS, as a sponsor, I have I'll be about Vanna White here too. We talk about sprinkling love like confetti. And so our team put together a little package of some of our sprinkle love like confetti. So there's a gift package for 1 sprinkle love like confetti from GEMS, or 3 copies of Karen's book that are available to win. And here's all you need to do, friends. This will go through Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday, February 3rd. To put all this in the comments. But here's all you need to do. There's 2 numbers that you can just text in to be entered to win. So the U.S. code is 55444. And then if you are in Canada, because Karen, we have a lot of Canadian sisters that listen as well. We love our GEMS friends and moms, mentors, and ministry leaders everywhere. Canada, here's the number. Again, this will be in the comments. So if you're driving, please don't stop. Keep your eyes on the road. Ready? 438-500-8300. So if you're in Canada, that's the number, US 55444. So when you sign up, then we'll enter your name in and we'll do the drawing on Wednesday, and we will get back to you to let you know that you won. But again, all of us are winners because we get to go out and make someone's day, and we get to lean in, listen, love, as Karen reminded. Karen, you took us to the kitchen, you took us to church, you've taken us everywhere, to the coffee shop, but Karen's reminded us that we get to be like Jesus. Lean in and listen and love, not those that are the cookie cutter versions of us, but those that are in our everyday life. And Karen, I love the reminder too. This isn't like one more thing on our to-do list, but just to have that focus of where we might be light or love. So Karen, I wonder, as we wrap up, I didn't tell you these questions because you're so good on your feet. I just wanted to be authentic, like we were having coffee together. What's one way that someone has shown love to you? So you're giving us 101 ways to go out and do things. But I wonder in your life, what's a meaningful way that someone showed you practically how much you mean or how much you are known?
Well, I think recently it's been a couple friends, and I didn't wear waterproof mascara, so you shouldn't ask me this question because I might cry. But just a couple friends that have just really gone out of the way to remember me in my grief, especially with losing my father, who had a wild testimony of really wandering from the Lord for many, many years. And he came back in the last decade of his life or so and made amends with everybody he had wronged, everybody he had offended. He's just a great example of redemption. And he passed away in January of 19, and I was extremely close to him. And I had a couple friends that just did some real creative things. One friend, well, I had sent her a voicemail, was the last voicemail he left me. And I sent it, I said, oh, I keep listening to this over and over again. Mm-hmm. She got a picture frame that has a little recorder button on it. And she put a little segment of that voicemail on the picture frame. It says, sweetheart, I was just thinking about you. Love you, love you, love you. Call me back. And so she put a picture of my dad and I had a picture on my Instagram of me sitting on my dad's lap when I was about 3 years old. She got a copy of that made and she put it in that picture frame and it sits on my desk. And so I can push that button and hear my dad saying, love you, love you, love you. Call me back. And then I had another friend that that first half of that phrase, I sent her that same voicemail. I sent a couple friends that voicemail the day he passed away that said, sweetheart, I was just thinking about you. She had those words printed on a pillow and I have that in my office. And she said, I want you to think of your dad saying that to you, but I want you to think that the Lord's saying that to you today. Hey, sweetheart, I was just thinking of you. And so, and that was our mutual friend, Lindsay, that did that. Yeah. But anyway, just to remember me in my grief. And even though it's been 2 years almost now that my dad's been gone, I get text messages on the anniversary of his death or on Father's Day. Like, hey, I know you're probably missing your dad today. Just thinking about you. It's just those simple, I just thought about you, and so I stopped and did something. Those are the actions that mean the most.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Karen, again, so many things we love about you, but that you don't just write these books, you live these books. So thank you for sharing from your heart, not only how we can make others' day, but how others have made your day. Mm-hmm. And for there, again, the friends are commenting how precious that is. They're thinking of you and your loss. And thank you for using your pain. I think many of us are going to go up to Father's Day and write down names of those that we know have lost someone special. So thank you for sharing that with us. Not just for us to hear your story, but for us now to be able to put this in action as well. We appreciate you. again, I think I forgot to say text GEMS. That's a very important thing. So you have the numbers and they're like, what do we text? Because they want to win your book, Karen. Text GEMS, sorry, GEMS. So thank you for those. It takes a village to do this. But yes, and again, this will go through Wednesday. So if you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and enter. We want everyone to have the book. And if you order it ahead of time, remember, go to KarenEhman.com. Get those free downloads, and so you can start making somebody's day right away. And it might be yours if you make those peanut butter cups. So, and you know where the GEMS office is. We'll take some samples too if you want to try us out. Karen, we love you. We're so grateful for you. We are celebrating with you now with some confetti, and we will be praying for your release tomorrow. Your 16th book. That's an amazing accomplishment, but even more than that, that you live it and the difference that you're making, your voice is making in the kingdom. Thank you so much for being you. So friends, go ahead and leave a thumbs up if you'll pray for Karen and this book launch. Can you imagine how different our world would be if every single day as people were going through and scrolling, because we know that scroll is taking a toll, that they were going through looking not to compare, but to look for ways that they could love. What a difference that would make. So we love you, Karen. Don't forget the giveaways. We'll keep you posted. Any final words that you want to say as we wrap up, Karen?
No, I just wondered if you needed my address for that cute box you're giving away, because I really like this sticker.
We'll automatically enter you too. Karen, you will be entered to win. We've got your email. So
no, I'm just teasing. But no, just thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I love GEMS, and I'm just happy to be given some ideas that hopefully people can implement.
Yeah, 101 of them. Can't wait. And for our leaders here, many of those are ways that you can impact either your GEMS leaders that you're serving with, your team, parents, or even pass them on to the girls. So love how practical you are, Karen. So many ways that we can just go out there and share light and love. So thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you again next Monday, 2 p.m. for another coffee chat. Be blessed, be well. Take care. Bye-bye.